Welcome students to Nelson's English School online education program, Standard 7, subject Social Science. Welcome students. Let's start. History chapter 9, the making of a regional culture. We know about people from the place they live in, the food they eat, the languages they speak, their clothes, poetry, dance, music, paintings, and other customs and traditions. But these culture and traditions change for many different reasons. Local and foreign customs mix to become new languages and lifestyles. In the 9th century, when the Cheras came to power, Malayalam was already spoken in the areas in and around present day Kerala. So the Chera king used it as the official language of the kingdom to write their inscriptions and administrative records. This is how, with a new kingdom, an old language grew and became an official and important part of the literature and life of the people in those areas. Cheras also used and developed Sanskritic traditions. For example, the temple theatre of Kerala borrowed stories from Sanskrit epics, and much of Malayalam literature is inspired by Sanskrit. The 14th century work called Lilati Lakkam was composed in the style of Mani Parvala. It means diamonds and coral, a reference to the languages of Sanskrit and Tamil. Many regional cultures grew around religious traditions such as the cult of Jagannath, a name of Lord Vishnu that means Lord of the World, in Puri, Odisha. Archaeologists have found an ancient wooden idols of the same deities whose statues were later built by kings for new temples. Lord Jagannath was earlier worshipped as a local deity, but in the 12th century, King Ananthavarman decided to build a temple, and in 1230, King Anang Bhima III dedicated his entire kingdom to Lord Jagannath. So the temple gained political, religious, and social importance, and new conquerors such as the Mughals, the Marathas, and the British tried to control these temples to make their rule more acceptable to the people who worshipped it. This shows how a local deity became popular as the famous lord of a big kingdom. Since the 8th century, present day Rajasthan, called Rajputana by the British, has been ruled by different Rajput kings, and those kings were famous for their outstanding valor, heroism, loyalty, friendship, and extreme emotions of love and anger. Story of those brave Rajputs and of other people such as women and traders were recorded as poems and songs that entertained and impressed people for generations. And over many years, these stories became lifestyle of the people of Rajputana. Now, next topic is the history of Kathak. Kathak is an Indian classical dance form, and its name comes from the Sanskrit word katha. It meaning story. Its main features are indicated and rapid footwork, elaborate costumes. Special emphasis was laid on enactment of stories. Kathaks were originally a caste of storytellers who used songs and gesture to perform in temples in the northern parts of India. Then in the 15th or 16th century, Kathak evolved in a dance form as a part of the Bhakti movement. Kathak was also performed in Mughal courts, and there it acquired the features that are prevalent even today. Later, Kathak developed into two traditions. We can say gharanas in the court of Jaipur and Lucknow. It grew into a major art form with the support of Nawab Wajid Ali Khan. And in the late 19th century, Kathak grew in regions like present day Punjab, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh. Now, the next is miniature paintings. Miniature or small size paintings are generally done on cloth or paper using watercolors, although the earliest were done on palm leaves and wood. The Mughals used them mainly to illustrate historical accounts of battles, scenes from the court, lives of people, etc. They were also used to illustrate Jain texts. Later, these styles influenced the paintings of Rajasthan and Deccan areas to depict mythology, poetry, portrait of the royals. In the late 17th century, the style of miniature painting also grew as an art form known as Baskholi in the Himalayan foothills, present day Himachal Pradesh. Also, when Mughal artists migrated to the plains, they used Vaishnavite traditions and developed the Kangra school of paintings that used soft colors and hives. This is how the style of miniature painting started with the Mughals and changed as it spread to other areas, and the Mughals also used new styles as they started living and working with people in other areas. Now let's study about growth of a regional language, Bengali. Bengali is derived from Sanskrit because in the 3rd and the 4th centuries, Bengal developed commercial relation with Magadha, present day Bihar, where Sanskrit was spoken. In the 4th century, Brahmanas settled in Bengal and made Sanskrit influence stronger. In the 7th century, the Chinese traveler Yuan Tsang traveled in Bengal and he wrote in his travel journals that Sanskrit and other related languages were spoken almost all over Bengal. In 1586, Akbar conquered Bengal, so Persian became the official written language and Bengali became the regional spoken language. By the end of the 15th century, many dialects had become one language that we call Bengali, and it was spoken in the huge area that we now called West Bengal. Early Bengali literature can be divided into two parts. One is based mostly on Sanskrit and was composed between the 15th and the 18th centuries, such as Mangal Kavyas, auspicious poems translated from Sanskrit, or Bhakti literature. The other, like the Nath literature, folk tales, fairy tales, ballads, etc., is independent of Sanskrit and it was used orally. This shows how Bengali is made from Sanskrit, Persian, and many European and even Indian tribal languages. Now, mosques were built there during the Mughal rule and that led to religious transformation in the region. In the 16th century, people emigrated in the large numbers from West Bengal and started farming in the more fertile eastern parts. The lives of these new immigrants and settlers were not easy, and they were looking for order and peace. So people went to religious teachers, preachers and saints believed to have supernatural powers, all of whom were known as peers. This word also influenced Sufi saints, colonizers and deified soldiers, various Hindu and Buddhist deities and even animistic spirits. Rulers started building many temples in Bengal between the late 15th century to the 19th century to show their power and spirituality. Many of these temples were built with the help of social groups such as the Koli, means pressers, and the Kansari, means bell metals workers. After the 19th century, many European companies came to Bengal and created good jobs for people. So people made more money and built bigger temples. And the local deities, first worshipped in thatched huts, came to be recognized by the Brahmanas and worshipped in the newly built temples through the typical Bengali style of architecture. They were double roofed, means do chala, or four roofed, means chauchala temples, built on a square platform. And although their inner walls were plain, the outer walls were mostly decorated with paintings or terracotta tablets. Generally, people in a region eat what is easily available around them. Bengal, for example, has many hot and humid coastal areas, so people mostly eat rice and fish, their staple diet. Many examples in Bengali literature, sculptures, and paintings tell us that fishing has always been important to the people of Bengal. For example, terracotta plaques on the walls of temples, viharas, show scenes of fish being dressed and taken to the market in baskets. And although the religion of Brahmanas doesn't allow them to eat fish, as for the Brihad Dharma Puran, a 13th century Sanskrit text, Brahmana in Bengal were allowed to eat certain varieties of fish. So students, here we have completed our all topics. So with this, have a nice day. Thank you.